The smarter you are, the harder it is to choose what to have for dinner. Most people think that's just a funny quirk. They're wrong. This is a symptom of a fundamental conflict between how a highly analytical mind works and how life actually works. Both sides of this conflict have a point, and both have consequences that can shape your entire life. Where do you stand? By the end of this, you might change your mind. At its surface, the problem looks like simple overthinking. A person of average intelligence might need a new coffee maker. They go to the store, find one that looks good and is in their budget, and buy it. The whole process takes maybe 15 minutes. For a highly analytical person, this simple task explodes into a research project. It begins with a list of variables. Blade grinder or burr grinder? A burr grinder gives a more consistent particle size, which affects extraction. What about the carafe? Glass is classic, but loses heat fast and can develop a burnt taste on the warning plate. A thermal carafe preserves flavor and temperature, but you can't see how much is left. Then comes the feature creep. Programmable timers, water filters, different brew strengths, single cup options. Soon, they're 10 browser tabs deep into expert reviews, user forums, and reliability reports from consumer magazines. They're building a spreadsheet. One model has a slightly better long-term durability rating but uses more expensive filters. Another has perfect temperature control, but a few users report leaks after 2 years. What's the real cost of ownership? What's the probability of getting a defective unit? Suddenly, a $100 purchase is being scrutinized with the same intensity as a major financial investment. The result is paralysis. Days, sometimes weeks, pass. They end up making coffee with a saucepan and a strainer because the sheer volume of information has made a choice impossible. The best option has become a phantom, always just one more review away. This looks like a personal failing, a simple lack of ability to just make a decision. But what if it's a predictable outcome of a much deeper cognitive strategy? Psychologists have a name for this. It's the conflict between maximizing and satisficing. The term was coined by Nobel laureate Herbert Simon. Satisficers have a checklist of criteria for what good enough looks like. The first option that checks all the boxes is the one they choose. They move on. They're generally content with their choice. Maximizers, on the other hand, are on a quest. They are compelled to find the single, absolute, objectively best option. They must exhaust every possibility to ensure they are making the optimal choice. For the maximizer, good enough is a form of failure. This difference is stark when it comes to major life decisions. Consider two people looking for a new job. The Satisficer needs a job that pays above a certain threshold, is within a 30-minute commute, and involves work they find interesting. They find a company that offers all three. They accept the offer and are perfectly happy. The maximizer, however, applies to 100 companies. They interview at 20. They secure 5 different offers. Now the real agony begins. Job A has the highest salary, but Job B has better long-term career growth. Job C has the best company culture, but Job D offers a revolutionary project. Job E has a brilliant boss they could learn from. They spend weeks agonizing, running scenarios, losing sleep. They eventually pick one, but the doubt lingers for months, even years. Was it the right call? The ghost of the unchosen options haunts them. They are tormented by opportunity cost. The Satisficer is enjoying their new job. The maximizer is wondering if they could be enjoying another job more. That sounds convincing, but it frames maximizing as a purely negative trait. Is the answer really just to lower your standards and settle for less? That feels like a cop-out. It also ignores the very reason this cognitive style exists in the first place. This behavior is forged in fire. Think about the environments that cultivate and reward extreme intelligence. Academia, law, engineering, surgery, software development. In these fields, being a satisficer is grounds for dismissal. An engineer designing a bridge cannot say, well, this design is good enough. They are paid to be maximizers. They must anticipate every possible point of failure, calculate every stress load, and consider every 1 in a million black swan event. Their job is to find the single optimal solution among thousands of bad ones, because the cost of being wrong is catastrophic. A lawyer reviewing a contract cannot just skim it for good enough language. They must dissect every clause, searching for any ambiguity or loophole that could be exploited. The entire profession is an exercise in paranoid maximization. These people spend 8, 10, 12 hours a day in an environment where this intense, detail-oriented analysis is the only path to success. The feedback loop is powerful, finding the flaw is rewarded, finding the optimal path is praised. This cognitive muscle gets stronger and stronger. The problem is they can't turn it off. When they leave the office and go to the grocery store, the same mental software boots up. The bridge design module in their brain is trying to optimize for the best brand of olive oil. The contract review module is analyzing the nutritional labels on 2 brands of yogurt as if it were a legal document. They are using a nuclear reactor to power a toaster. The tool is perfectly honed. It's just being applied to the wrong problem. And yet, this mechanical explanation feels incomplete. It explains the how, but misses the powerful emotional why. The real driver is often something deeper, something far more personal. It's about identity. For many highly intelligent people, being smart is their primary sense of self. It's what got them praise as a child. It's what their professional status is built on. It's the core of their ego. This transforms every decision, no matter how small, into a performance. Making a choice is a test of that identity. And if they make a bad choice, the consequences are felt on an existential level. Imagine this internal monologue while staring at a restaurant menu. Choosing the wrong dish isn't just a minor disappointment. To the ego, it's a failure of judgment. It's a crack in the facade of being the smart one. It's a data point suggesting they might not be as discerning or intelligent as they believe. The internal critic is merciless. A truly smart person would have known that the sea bass is better here. You read 3 reviews that said to avoid the pasta, and you ordered it anyway. What's wrong with you? The stakes of a $20 meal are inflated to become a verdict on their core competency. The fear of being wrong, the fear of making a suboptimal choice, is what causes the paralysis. It's the fear of being exposed, even if only to themselves, as someone who makes mistakes. Someone who is perhaps ordinary. This is a powerful explanation, but it still doesn't explain why some very smart people are incredibly decisive while others are trapped in these loops. What is the variable that separates them? The answer might lie in the type of information they've been trained to trust. Many intelligent people, especially those in technical or academic fields, are conditioned to value external, objective, quantifiable data above all else. They trust studies, spreadsheets, specifications, and peer-reviewed papers. They are deeply skeptical of internal, subjective, qualitative data, feelings, intuition, gut instinct. To them, this internal data is noisy, unreliable, and biased. It's a bug in the system. So when faced with a decision like choosing a vacation, they approach it like a math problem. They analyze flight costs, hotel reviews, crime statistics, and weather patterns. They create a matrix of pros and cons. They are trying to produce a logically defensible answer. But the question, where should I go on vacation, is fundamentally an emotional one. The real question is, what experience do I want to have? Do I feel like being in a bustling city or a quiet forest? Do I crave the sea or the mountains? These are questions that can only be answered by consulting that messy, internal, intuitive self. By trying to solve an emotional problem with a logical toolkit, they become disconnected from their own desires. They might choose the vacation spot that scores highest on their spreadsheet, only to arrive and feel the decision was perfectly optimized and completely empty. They solved for the wrong variable. The ultimate choice was logical, defensible, and had nothing to do with what they actually wanted. So what do you think? We have the mind trained for high-stakes precision, trapped in a low-stakes world of infinite imperfect options. We have an identity built on being correct in a life where most choices have no right answer. And we have a deep trust in external data, coupled with a deep suspicion of our own inner voice. The result is a prison of analysis, where the freedom to choose becomes a burden. Where do you draw the line between rigor and self-torture? When you find yourself stuck on a simple choice, are you truly trying to find the best outcome, or are you just performing the act of being intelligent for an audience of one?